Hey everyone, it's Amy Dugan here, and today I want to talk to you about money, cash reserves, money management, and a big pitfall that I kept falling into with my frivolous spending habits and how you can avoid them. Okay, so first I'm going to go over what are cash reserves, why they're important, and what you can do to build cash reserves and in turn, you're going to have a way better business and way better life. Okay, what are cash reserves? So if you would have brought up cash reserves to me, like even just a few years ago, I would have been like, cash reserves, what? Like, I have a credit card, So I'm 26 now. When I was 20 or 19 or 20, I was, doing commercial real estate, cold calling, selling apartment buildings, and I came up on some money, okay? But it didn't matter because my spending habits were so bad. Like every time I would make a bunch of money, I would spend more than I made and I would end up right back in debt. So it didn't matter how much money I made. It was like my spending habits were just shit. Okay, so cash reserves is keeping money in the bank always as a reserve. So even if you're not cash flow positive, even if you're not bringing in money, you have a safety net. So you're not in debt, you have a padding of money, okay, that you're storing. Ideally, you want to have 6 months of cash reserves in the bank to cover your business expenses. Like whatever your expenses are month to month for your life and your business, total that times 6 and have that in the bank. If you don't have that right now, you should go into savings mode, get that money in the bank, and always have that cash reserve and don't touch it unless you absolutely need to. I'll talk more about how to do that in a second, but that's what cash reserves are, right? Okay. Second is, why is it so important to have cash reserves? Besides the obvious, which is it's a safety net, if something happens on the outside, some outside circumstance where your business isn't bringing in new clients or, there's a pandemic that affects you, right? All kinds of these things, you have cash reserves. So while everyone else might be scrambling, they're really going paycheck to paycheck, you've taken out that you've been in savings mode and you have this safety net. But what's even more important than that, in my opinion, is when you have that cash reserve, you can think long term instead of thinking in survival mode. So you're not worried about it. You're not worried about money. You're chill. Now you can actually problem solve for your business and help your clients and focus more on, building and implementing long-term strategies, innovating, keeping your team on board, not having to be stressed about letting your team go when you aren't bringing in money that month, right? So cash reserves really enables you to have clean thinking, long-term thinking, and be more innovative in your business, which is key for having a successful business and being able to thrive instead of just, survive or being in survival mode. So that's why it's important to have cash reserves, and I hope you can see that. And here's what I would do if I were you. If you don't already have, maybe you already have cash reserves, that's awesome. If you don't, this is what I would do. First of all, I would go into savings mode, like cut all unnecessary expenses, strip down to the bare minimum expenses, and get in savings mode, like now. To do that, what you have to do is you have to stare your money in the face. So you have to be real with yourself. You can't keep on turning a blind eye to your finances and expect to be financially secure and financially free, right? So I'll give you an example from my life. So back to that example from commercial real estate. So when I was 20, right, and I went right back into debt, like $20,000 in debt I went into after making 6 figures, right? How did that happen? Because I was just an idiot with my money and I wasn't staring my money in the face. So what I started doing after, I rebuilt businesses and made money again is I stared my money in the face. I documented my cash flow every single day. So I've got a spreadsheet. How much money did I make today? How much money did I spend today? And I tracked every single expense, just my cash flow every single day. And then finally, all of a sudden, I have money that's accumulating instead of disappearing, Suddenly I have cash reserves. Suddenly I'm like, wow, this isn't so hard. It's just like when you're turning a blind eye, you can't solve the problem. You have to face the pain to solve the problem, right? So it's kind of like, think of it this way. Imagine you're eating really unhealthy, you're not working out, you're not taking care of your body and your diet, and you're eating McDonald's and chips every single day, okay? And let's say you really don't want to look at the scale because it's scary and it hurts and you don't want to see that number, right? But that's just living in denial is not going to help you. It might feel better to stay in denial, to not face the pain, but in order to get out, you have to go through it. You have to, the best way out is always through. It's so real. First, you have to get on that scale and look at your weight and be like, you have to accept reality. Okay, this is my weight right now. Okay, I have to come to terms with where I am right now, face it in order to move forward from there, right? So, okay, right now I'm not where I want to be, but this is where I am right now. Here are the numbers. Oof, doesn't feel good. But now I can do something about it. So that's what you need to do with your finances. So I challenge you. Get into savings mode. Set a goal to have at least 6 months of your cash reserves. So figure out what that number is for you specifically. And then face your finances and start tracking your money today. How much money did I make? How much money did I spend? Every single day. And when you do that, you're going to get a real feel for your financial situation. You're going to become very aware of it because it's in your awareness. Once it becomes in your awareness, you can start raising it and you can start putting intention towards raising your financial situation. And it is so awesome what happens when you do that, because you're not in denial anymore. You're going to be compiling money instead of spending money. And what's going to happen is the compound effect. Instead of compounding into negative balance, which is what happens when you go into debt, you're going to compound into the positive snowball effect. So you're going to start seeing, suddenly you're like, boom, 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 whoa, I'm making a lot of money, or like my cash reserve is building up like crazy. And that's what happens when you face your finances and take control of it instead of letting your negative habits control you. You take control of your habits. So yes, that's my spiel today on money and cash reserves and the importance of it and how you can take control of it. And I hope that helps. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. I will see you in the next one. Bye.